Hello everybody, welcome to the Wonky Angle, where I talk about electronic music, both new and old. And 2016 is finally over. At least it's the last day of it, well, as of recording this. I don't think we really need a breakdown of the shit we went through this year. We all know. But it does mean that this list was significantly less fun to make than last year. The good stuff was a lot rarer this year and often got overplayed, which admittedly means nothing to me, as I don't listen to the radio, but yeah, I'm not nearly as enthusiastic about my picks this year. But hell, I'm doing the list anyway because views, why not? The good stuff this year did at least exist, so I'll talk about it. I like to be more optimistic, so I'd much rather celebrate the things that were good in 2016, as few as they may have been. And the usual disclaimers, just my opinion, you don't have to agree or like any of the songs that I put on here. And I'm the electronic guy, so I don't usually give a crap about lyrics, and I care more about the production and overall sound. So let's just get right into the top 10 best hit songs of 2016. So before I start up this list, I'll be listing out my honorable mentions and guilty pleasures. I'd like to note though that there is a difference between the two. Guilty pleasures basically mean I'm fully aware of their faults, but I do still like them more than most people I know seem to like them. So the ones labeled GP I don't think are necessarily good enough to make the actual list. So guilty pleasures and honorable mentions. Let's start. For the record, I still haven't forgiven Flo Rida for Good Feeling, and I basically only like the hook on this, but I can't deny that is a really good hook. This song is surprisingly pretty good if you remove Justin Bieber entirely.
I'm sorry if I seem uninterested.
I know this song was a hit in 2015, but if I don't talk about it now, then I never will. Also, I hadn't heard it until this year, so fuck it. I can't say that I love this song. I have a feeling I'm missing something from the song being a guy. Personally, I'd never have gone to a party like the one she describes in the first place, and I have no idea why she wouldn't just leave, but I wouldn't know. But I like the song because the sample they use in this song's beat was also used in Portishead's Glory Box and Tricky's Hell Is Around the Corner.
For I've been a temptress too long.
I stand firm for a soil. Liquor I come forth when they juice, juice.
And hell, they even give those samples some modern intensity that Portishead and Tricky didn't back in 1994. I just take it as a neat reference to some old school trip hop, and I like it for that. But much like the trip hop it's referencing, I need to be in a very specific mood to enjoy this. I really need to get back into those old 90s trip hop guys again. Haven't listened to them in ages.
If I was you, I'd want.
I can't in good conscience put this on the list, honorable mention or otherwise, as ironic enjoyment alone should not get you on this list, even if there is an overabundance of it. But I do still find this track both hilarious and fascinating. This song is, for me, what I imagine Big Sean's Ass is for Todd in the Shadows. It sounds more like all of Meghan Trainor's producers committing intentional career sabotage than a song that I can take seriously.
I need a one dance, got a Hennessy.
I understand why a lot of people don't like this one. The beat is basic as hell, the sample in the middle is pretty jarring, there's a little to nothing of interest that happens outside of Drake asking a girl to dance. It's basically an unfinished song that needed a bit more interesting production, but hell, I like the melody. I like the performance from Drake and Kyla. I like the mood and atmosphere it has. The potential for an awesome chill-out track is here. Sure, could have been better, but it's a track that's been getting a little better every time I hear it. I'd be lying if I said it didn't put a smile on my face anytime I heard it. I will completely understand if you don't like this song. Tyler Joseph's voice can definitely get grating, but this is a fun song, and a band with artistic integrity on the charts is a welcome change. I feel like I should be reacting more strongly to this one. I didn't love Uptown Funk, and while I think I like this a tiny bit more, I can't say I love this one either. Can't really put my finger on why. But I like that Bruno Mars is doing more throwback music, and that's certainly better for him than that early overdramatic stuff he used to do. The only thing I can pin down that I really like is the vocoders, like at the beginning. I just can't say I'd ever, seek it out or anything.
Your love is fading, I feel it.
So yeah, this was my favorite song off The Life of Pablo. I was not expecting Kanye to make anything in my usual wheelhouse. Also, this song kind of reminds me of a much better one from Moby. It's pretty darn similar to Can't Feel My Face, which I still like more, but I'm cool with more of this. That's why I like the Starboy album, which I will be getting to later in this video. But I like how this one has a bouncier beat. It's a little more intense, too. Good stuff. And now that we're through all the honorable mentions and guilty pleasures, let's get into the list proper, starting out with number 10. Okay, this is the year that a guilty pleasure of sorts made it onto the list proper. For all I know, this is on someone's worst list, as it comes from an artist that is usually capable of better, and it's generic, and it sounds kind of like Adventure of a Lifetime, or Can't Feel My Face, right down to being a four-word title with the first word being can't. But 2016 seriously needed more happy songs like this. To be totally honest, I wouldn't blame anyone if they wanted to put this on their worst list, but I also can't really imagine anyone doing so, as there was far worse out there this year. And I guess this song just didn't work for a lot of people for whatever reason. The double agent proposed the theory that it's because of the weird chord progression that goes 1-6-4-6 instead of 1-6-4-5 like a lot of pop songs do. But 1-6-4-5 is the generic 4 chords. And it's an easy way to make me hate a song, especially if you're in C major like this song is, in music nerd stuff. But the fact that it doesn't actually makes me like the song even more. And like I said, pop music in 2016 was often pretty depressing and boring. The fact that we have Justin Timberlake giving it his all in this cheesy, dorky, overly happy single was just a breath of fresh air for me. Just kind of a shame it doesn't look like a lot of other people were in the same boat as me. Oh well. Number 9. Okay, let's get an obvious one out of the way.
I took a pill in Ibiza to show Avicii I was cool.
So I'm sure everyone is waiting for me to dump out my encyclopedic knowledge on Seeb. Actually, I had never heard of these guys before this song came out. The only other thing I've heard from them is their remix of Hymn for the Weekend by Coldplay, and from what I can tell, they seem to be like a more pleasant version of DJ Snake. But yes, this is a spot-on remix, turning a lame white guy with acoustic guitar song into something that actually fits the lyrics, which seem to be the thing that most people like. And hey, I like them too. Love that even Mike freaking Posner seems to know that Avicii is not cool. But yeah, lots of people have talked about this song, and I like it for most of the same reasons everyone else does. Good song. Moving on. Number 8. Hello, Ariana. I can't say I've been following Ariana Grande very closely over the years, like, at all. I guess she had a new album this year about being dangerous. Okay, Disney star wants to be dangerous, never seen that before. But first of all, Ariana's actually a damn good singer, and second of all, at least this song seems to be more about wanting to make the transition rather than just attempting to put on hip-hop cred for no reason. And third of all, this beat is awesome. It's kind of like the dark version of Can't Stop the Feeling that actually sounds even more intense than Can't Feel My Face with all the abrasive and intense synth tones, and Ariana just sounds fantastic over it. Just a really easy song to get into, and I'm out of things to say, so insert forced transition here. Number 7. In 2015, DJ Snake seemed like a promising new mainstream producer with great singles like You Know You Like It, which really should have made my list last year, but I hadn't heard it at the time, and a nice guest appearance on Lean On by Major Lazer, and in 2016 he released his debut album Encore. I reviewed that album. Spoilers, it wasn't good. It looked like the guy had basically run out of steam, making generic tropical house, occasionally with terrible drops, intense dubstep or whatever with terrible drops, and boring trap rap songs with boring trap rappers with no drops. Oh, and also one carbon copy of Lean On, but I already talked about that. That being said, there were a small handful of good songs on that album, and here's one of them.
You in the middle.
This is another one of those love it or hate it kind of songs, especially when it comes to that drop, which some people found to be extremely grating. Personally, I think you could do a lot worse than this. Actually, I do quite like the drop on this song. It's got that kind of random Skrillex-y feel to it, and I find myself kind of humming along to it and getting into it. And it surprisingly doesn't clash with the smoother and more Kygo-y rest of the song. DJ Snake may have gone way downhill as of late, but I still like this song. It's a good one. NumberSix. Last year I had Coldplay's Adventure of a Lifetime on my best hits list. It wasn't really a hit yet at the time, but this year it actually was a hit, scraping the bottom of the Billboard year-end chart. If it weren't for my putting it on last year's list, that song probably would be my number one this year. But I guess I'll settle for the other big Coldplay single this year. So last year I mentioned that I was planning on exploring Coldplay's entire discography, since at the time I'd only heard Rush of Blood to the Head and some other random singles. Well, in 2016 I did just that, and I realized my favorite album from these guys was almost certainly Milo Xyloto, which had a ton of great electronic influence production from freaking Brian Eno, and awesome singles like Hurts Like Heaven, Charlie Brown, Every Teardrop is a Waterfall, Major Minus, etc. And even a cool concept and story that has like a 6-part comic series to come with it. And once I figured out how much I loved Milo Xyloto, I realized that their new album, A Head Full of Dreams, wasn't that great. The disco stuff is cool, but like the non-disco stuff is just less memorable Milo Xyloto stuff. The title track I think even kinda steals a melody line from Don't Let It Break Your Heart. That being said, I guess the main exception is this bigger single, Hymn for the Weekend. I mean, it's no Hurts Like Heaven or even Adventure of a Lifetime, but it's definitely a grower. It's just another song that is so happy to be alive. It's got a great melody. Even adding in Beyonce I think adds to the song more than adding Rihanna to Princess of China. It's a song that just puts a smile on my face anytime I hear it. I've heard Head Full of Dreams might be Coldplay's last album, and it seriously better not be, because that'd be kind of a weak place to finish. But on this album that I'm less enthusiastic about every time I hear it, we got this single that gets better every time I hear it. Good on you, Coldplay, and hoping this isn't where it ends for you. NumberFive. Okay, a bit more controversial pick coming up. Well, at least in the literal meaning of controversial, as the song seems to have its audience split. Some people like it, and some people hate it. But, like I said, this is 2016, and I will take any dumb party song.
I can make your hands clap. Said I can make your hands clap.
Okay, so the main interesting thing about the reception of this song is that non-fans of this band tend to like it, and fans of this band tend to hate it. That's a very interesting reaction, if I have to say so myself. I mean, I'll admit I kind of fall into the former category, and this was my introduction to the band, so what was the band like before this to elicit this kind of reaction?
Don't come back anytime. I've already had your kind. This is your playback. Money grab, but we don't gotta work it out. 'Cause no one hey, put your foot down and take a look round. But don't like what you see. No, 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 no. Hey!
Oh. That explains a lot. Yeah, okay, I've heard some of their earlier stuff, and I'll have to agree it's way better. The retro Motown stuff is pretty awesome, and there's no way to look at Handclap and not call it a sellout. But I've always said, just because it's a sellout doesn't mean it's bad. Fans of this band seem to like using electronic as an insult towards this song, and I'll be honest, I actually really like this production. It's very lively and upbeat, and so what if it is kind of a techno song? At least the producer knows what he's doing. And there exists a very obvious example of how this could have been so much worse. See, on the iTunes dance charts, there's a single called Make Your Hands Clap by some up-and-coming producer called DJ Turn It Up. And by up-and-coming producer, I mean scam artist, because the single is literally Handclap by Fitz and the Tantrums, covered and produced by someone who has no idea what they're doing. And can't sing either. Let's have a listen, shall we?
Somebody save your soul, 'cause you've been sinning in the city. I know too many
vocals, all these lovers got you losing control. Need to believe you could hold me down, 'cause I'm in need of something good right now.
Yeah, don't complain to me about the production on the original. Is the band capable of way better? Yes, but it's still an excellent techno-pop song that's actually fun and lively. And quite personally, it was just a pleasure to listen to anytime I heard it. Next one. Number 4. Alright, let's knock out another obvious one.
Look what you done.
So, okay, Daft Punk are back on the pop charts. Can't say I ever saw that coming, although I suppose it's totally possible Daft Punk have gotten to the point where when they release their next album, there'd be a song that charts on Billboard purely because it's got their name on it. Not likely, but possible. But this made it here because everyone's favorite R&B star boy is collaborating with Daft Punk. And while I'm at it, I heard The Weeknd's entire Starboy album, and I actually really liked it. Not all the way through, I'd have probably cut like 5 or 6 tracks, but like, Starboy is almost entirely an electronic album. You got stuff like False Alarm, which is really intense and loud. You got Rockin', which sounds like a Disclosure track. You got Sidewalks, which seems to take some more like 70s elements as well as Kendrick Lamar elements. And there's like a whole bunch of tracks that sound similar to Can't Feel My Face, like Secrets, Love to Lay, A Lonely Night, and I suppose to a lesser extent I Feel It Coming, which actually sounds like more of a Daft Punk song. But going back to this song, which I felt was good enough to be on my list. First of all, The Weeknd's voice has grown on me a lot ever since I was complaining about it in my Disclosure review. He sounds great there, and he sounds great here. And as for the instrumental, the main thing that sticks out to me are those pianos that add some nice tension and drama. And of course the vocoders, because it's Daft Punk, of course we're gonna get those. The reason why it's not even higher on the list is because it feels more like a build-up to get you hyped for the album you're about to hear, rather than a song I personally love enjoying all by itself. Hence why I've been talking more about the album than the song. But yeah, Starboy's a great song, and I'm sure we knew that already. Number 3. Hello again, Ariana.
I've been here all night. I've been here all day.
You might be wondering what this single is doing so far above Into You, which quite frankly I've heard a lot more enthusiasm towards. The reason I like this song more is because it reminds me of one of my all-time favorite bands who you've never heard of, called Sounds from the Ground. Now, I made an offhand joke about SFTG in last year's worst hits list. Let's Sounds from the Ground and move on. By the way, check out Sounds from the Ground. They're an actual good band. But I'm actually going to talk about them now because it's actually topical.
Life is up and down, ain't it, baby?
See, these guys are like an old techno chill-out band from the 90s who involve a lot of dub reggae elements, and Side to Side reminds me of 2 SFTG songs in particular. One is this one, Lean On Me, which is a trip-hop kind of song that has the same kind of atmosphere and has the cool female singing. The other SFTG song this reminds me of is Palm Print, which is almost a straight reggae track that goes on for like 7 minutes and is totally hypnotic, and has the same guitar patterns and is in the same key as Side to Side. So yeah, a song that has production that reminds me so heavily of SFTG, I'm basically instantly going to like it. Never thought I'd get the chance to plug this band on a video like this, so seriously, go check out Sounds from the Ground. And yeah, Side to Side is also a darn good song. Next one. Number 2. Let it be known that this year, a song made it onto my list mainly because I liked the lyrics.
But now we're stressed out. Wish we could turn back time.
Now, first of all, I do like the production on this song. It's just kinda casual and sad, and the kind of instrumental you'd want when accompanying a song about 2 dorky guys who are frustrated with the daily grind. And yeah, as a 21-year-old dorky college student myself, I'd be lying if I said I didn't find this song to be very relatable. First, I only heard the chorus on the radio at Subway and sang along, as I wouldn't mind turning back time to the good old days, since I was frequently stressed out. And after the rap critic explained what the rest of the song meant, I only liked it even more. What I took out of the song is that the world sucks and there's really nothing you can do about it anymore. And, geez, that was a thought that went through my head way too much this year. I mean, they say they wish they could turn back time, and of course he can't do that. So the beat is all depressed. Though nothing makes this sense this year, so maybe there was a rift in time that made it possible to turn back time to the good old days. And okay, if you don't like this one, again, I can understand. I hear this one got overplayed, and on top of that, Tyler Joseph sounds excessively whiny here, like more than usual. But hell, much of the first half of this year, for me, was spent in a mood expressed by this song. So, yeah. I love this song for helping me get through a confusing period in my life. So now that that's all out of the way, let's finish up this list. Number 1. Now, on the topic of 2016 being the year where everything just stopped making sense. You know how I said I started this list by saying somewhat of a guilty pleasure made the list? Well, this year, somewhat guilty pleasure also topped the list. Because it's from an artist that I typically can't stand. Because they've basically been writing the same song over and over for like 3-4 years. But last year they came out with a single that I really liked. And the first single I liked from them in a really long time. This year they came out with a follow-up single, which was entirely mediocre, and the world started to make sense again. That is until they came out with a third single, and I don't even know what happened. You know what's fucked up here when the one song I listened to the most this year came out of fucking Calvin Harris.
Why wait to say? At least I did it my way. Lie way to fade.
I don't just like this song. I actually fucking love this song. This might actually be my new favorite Calvin Harris single to date, at least right behind Ready for the Weekend. It's not exactly creative, it's basically How Deep Is Your Love meets Kygo meets Sieb. But like seriously, the production on this song is absolutely top notch. It's a tropical house song that actually kinda remembers that it's also a house song and has some actual tension and energy. In fact, though it took me a long time to figure it out, I think this song also reminds me a little bit of Clean Bandit, who haven't been relevant in ages, and who I miss quite a bit, even though they're kinda coming back. But the point is, My Way filled in that empty space that Clean Bandit left for me after they started unsuccessfully and/or blatantly trying to rewrite Rather Be over and over. Also, it's another one of those Calvin Harris songs that the guy did 100% by himself, and that's kind of the one thing I've always respected about him. The fact that he sings his own songs and produces them, and therefore only has one name in the song credits. Now, he's not a great singer, but I can't say his voice makes me suddenly want to break things, like the voice of that one asshole from the Chainsmokers. Also, I think the lyrics are about his stupid beef with Taylor Swift, but they're really generic and easy to ignore. As far as I'm concerned, this song doesn't have any actual message. Fact remains, this was another one of those grower songs that just got better and better every time I heard it. This actually kind of made me look forward to Calvin Harris's inevitable next album, which is inevitably going to have How Deep Is Your Love, This Is What You Came For, and this song on it. It's gonna happen, just wait. I bet you it's even gonna happen next year. But yeah, after 2 entire albums of mediocre bullshit, these modern EDM trends suddenly started to fix up Calvin Harris real well. I'll perfectly understand if you think this choice is awful, topping my choice to put everyone's least favorite Meghan Trainor song in the honorable mentions, and including Flume in my worst list, but fuck it. My enjoyment of pop music this year defies logic. At least I did it my way, right? That was terrible too. But of course, this is just my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, so leave comments in the comment thing down there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all for today. See you next time.
You were the one thing in my way. You were the one.